Business Studies Paper 1, and this is a common test of June 2023. So we're going to look at a question from the province of KwaZulu-Natal. So we are going to start by trying to look at the instructions of the question. So we've got instructions and information, but in particular, we are only going to be concerned about the information one, whereby it reads that this question paper consists of three questions. Section A is compulsory, and then section B consists of three questions, and you answer any two of the three questions in this section. So very important that we take note that we answer only two questions. So on section C, it consists of two questions. You answer one question out of the two questions in this section. So very important also to take note of that. So I'm moving on to our first question, which is obviously the section A, which is going to be compulsory. So our question one reads, various options are provided as possible answers and the following questions, and write down the question number, that is question 1 to 5, and the correct letter next to it. So this is what we have in terms of the section A. So going to the first question, the business is some control over the dash environment. So we've got different options that we have there, which is a market, a micro, macro, and macro. So obviously, according to the given answers, we have got the market environment is the one that the business has some control over, but obviously the control is going to be unlimited. So we have got market as the correct response. Then we go to the second part whereby it is the dash of a business is a component of the micro environment. So we have suppliers, intermediaries, vision, competitors. So you'd see that the vision is the one that is within the microenvironment. Remember, the microenvironment consists of the components that the business can control, of which the vision is set by the business and obviously controlled also by the business. So we have 2C as the correct response. I'll move on to number 3. The Dutch sector deals with converting raw materials into finished goods. This is obviously the secondary sector. This is the one that is responsible for manufacturing, which is the conversion of raw materials into finished goods. So we have got secondary G. So moving on to number 4. Number 4 is the process of ensuring that goods are produced by the same standards in terms of size, weight, or color is known as, we've got storage, standardization, grading, risk bearing. So the correct response that we have there, we have got a standardization as the correct response, which is going to be our B. We move on to the number 5, which says PK distributors apply the dash policy to get the products to the target market in the most convenient way. So obviously we have distribution as the correct response. So this marks the last question that we have on multiple choice section. We go to 1.2, which is complete the following statement by using the word or words in the list below. Right, only the word or words next to the question number. That's 1.2.1 to 1.2.5. So on the first part, the Dutch sector provides goods and services. So we have got different responses that we have to pick the correct response. So 1.2.1, obviously, we know that the one which provides goods and services is the tertiary sector. So we have tertiary as the correct response on 1.2.1. So we are saying we have a tertiary sector as the correct response. So I'm moving on so we can just try to put down your answer as a tertiary sector, that is on 1.2.1. So we are saying tertiary. Tertiary is the correct response. So moving on to the second part, saying the dash represents the age, gender, and racial composite of the people within the country. And the correct response that we have is demographics. So we have demographics as the correct response. And we move on to the next question, which reads, a dash is an association formed by workers to represent and protect their rights in the workplace. We have trade unions as the correct response. Moving on to the next question is saying, the business use dash packaging when complementary products are packed together. So we have got also different responses that we are going to pick from as the most appropriate that we have. So if you look there I would say that the one that is correct is combination. The business use combination packaging when complementary products are packed together. So combination packaging is the correct response. And then we move on to the next question, which is the last question on this part. The Dash Act requires the main dangers and potential incidents of the workplace be identified and eliminated. So we see that we have got occupational health and safety, which is a Occupational Health and Safety Act, which is correct response. This is the correct response that we have on 1.2.5. So moving on to see that this is the last part that we have. So we go to the next part, which is 1.3. 1.3 says choose a description from column B that matches the term in column A, right? Only the letter A to J next to the question number. And that's 1.3.1 to 1.3.5 in the answer book. So we've got the first term that we have, which is major. So we see which a description matches a major according to the responses that we have. But if you go to F, it reads occurs when two companies join together, usually by agreement to form one new business. So F is the best match that we have for 1.3.1. So we are saying F. So on the second one, we've got a lockout. So on lockout, we also choose the correct response, but we have seen that we have got a D, which is saying a form of industrial action used by employers to prevent workers from entering the premises. So we have D as the correct response. And then we move on to 1.3.3, which is primary. So on primary, obviously, this is going to be our primary sector, which deals with obviously the issue of extraction of raw materials and also producing raw materials. So we have A deals with the extraction of raw materials and natural resources. So we have A as the correct response. Then we have got quality cycle. So on quality cycle, also we need to see the best match that we have. So we go down looking for the best match. So it's that if you go to I, which is saying group of workers who do the same or similar work and who meet regularly to identify, analyze, and solve work-related problems. So we have I as the correct response. Then we've got scheduling. We also go to our column B to try to see which one do matches scheduling. But you go to see it involves calculating the time required to perform each activity in the manufacturing process. So we have C as the correct response. And we see that this is the last part that we have on section A. And we can see that our section A consists of 30 marks. So very important. So from there, we move on to our question 2. Moving on to our question 2 is on our business environments. And our question 2 reads, name 3 examples of contemporary social economic issues that pose a challenge to businesses. So you'd see that contemporary social economic issues, basically they are social issues that affect individuals and also they affect the society at large. So we have got examples that we have in the other section. We have got low income levels. These are some of examples of contemporary social economic issues that pose a challenge to businesses. Low income levels. So if obviously, if businesses, if the customers, for instance, are having a low income levels, obviously is going to affect the demand of the products. And also inflation, which is also going to affect the cost of living. And obviously, it will put pressure down on the demand of products since the prices are going up. Remember the relationship that we have between price and quantity demanded. And whenever price goes up, the quantity demanded will go down. So this is what we have. Then also we have got social, cultural, and demographic issues, economic crime, population growth. So we have got many of them as we have got the list that is going down there, which represents the examples of contemporary social economic issues. So our question requires us only to bring up 3 examples. So going down to the second question that we have got 2.2, which is read the scenario below and answer the question that follow. So we're given a scenario of Allied Printers, which is EP. Allied Printers EP specializes in the printing of billboard banners. The manager of EP networks widely with other printing companies in the area. This has resulted in EP being able to build new business relationships. It has also contributed to EP attracting new customers. EP is also able to control its environment and other businesses very well. 2.2.1, elaborate on the meaning of networking. So obviously networking is the process of obviously the process of interaction that takes place whereby two parties exchanges obviously information, ideas, and so on. In that case, obviously we have a scenario whereby we are having two parties that are on the same level, for example, who are in the same career. So that is what we have in terms of networking. So the meaning of networking that we have according to our answer section is networking refers to a coordinated activity where people who have similar objectives meet and exchange information and ideas. And that is the first point that we have. We can also, alternatively, we can describe it as during a networking session, entrepreneurs can meet new people and build alliances with others. So the goal of networking is to reach as many people as possible and to make every connection count. So basically, this is what we have for the meaning of networking. So we've got different responses that we can alternatively also include and any other relevant answer can be accepted in terms of the description of networking. So I'm moving on to the next question, which reads, quote two benefits of networking from the scenario above. So obviously we need to go back to the scenario and try to see which are the benefits we see there. So one of the benefits that we can deduce from the interaction that can take place is on the first part where we have got this sentence that is starting from here, which reads that this has resulted in EP being able to build new business relationships. So relationships are coming up from networking. And also, if you look at the next sentence, also starting from here, it reads that it has also contributed to EP attracting new customers. This is also as a result of networking. And you look at the last sentence, it reads EP is also able to control its environment and other businesses very well. So this also are positive results of networking, which are the benefits of networking. So exactly as we have in our other section, as it reads, we have this has resulted in EP being able to build new business relationships, and also it has also contributed to EP attracting new customers. EP is also able to control its environment and other businesses very well. So these are the points that we have on that part. So moving on to the next question, is discuss any two solutions to piracy. Remember, piracy represents an imitation of another person's work. So what are the solutions to piracy that we can bring? So you are going to see that the solutions to piracy that we can bring. We have got the issue of copyright. We can bring in copyright as a solution to piracy. We can also have patents as a solution to piracy. So under copyright, copyright refers to an exclusive legal right assigned to the author, artist, or producer or artistic work to print, publish, perform, or record the work. So this can also be a solution in the form of a copyright. So laws relating to copyright protect authors and allow them to sell their works to make profit. So these are the explanations that we have under copyright. Then other patents, it says a patent gives the creator of the product the right to prohibit other people from making or using their invention. So obviously, when there's a patent, it will prohibit or prevent other people from making your product. So that can be a solution to piracy whereby no imitation can take place in that scenario. So that's what we have on solutions of piracy. So moving on to the next question. Going back to 2.2.3, it reads explain other benefits of networking. So we have other benefits of networking that we have also mentioned here. Other benefits of networking that we can also include is it can result in increased market share and profitability. This is obviously, remember, we have customers being attracted due to networking, as we saw in the previous part, whereby we have in the case of EP, whereby it attracted new customers. Obviously, it will result in the increased market share, and obviously this will lead to profitability as revenue is going to increase, and then the profit margins will increase. Then we also have another other benefit that we can include, which is networking can be an excellent source of new perspectives and business ideas, and allows managers to generate new business opportunities. So these are some of the benefits of networking that we also can include. So we go to the next question, which reads, explain the purpose of the Labor Relations Act. So obviously, the Labor Relations Act is there to protect our workers. So what is now the purpose of the Labor Relations Act? So if you try to see according to what we have in our answer section in terms of the benefits of the Labor Relations Act, we are going to see that the Labor Relations Act obviously is going to deter the issue of workers are being oppressed. Well, the Act provides the structure for governing the relations between an employer and their employees. It encourages collective bargaining process to take place in the workplace. So it facilitates the issue of negotiations to take place between the employer and the employee. And also it also encourages the establishment of workplace forums to support employees in decision making. So these are the purposes of Labor Relations Act that we can also include. So going back to our question, you'd see that our question has got 6 marks. Obviously, it requires us to bring 3 points. So according to what we have, we've got 3 points here, and we've got other points that are also correct that we can also include in terms of purposes of our Labor Relations Act. So we move on to the next part, which reads, describe the role of trade unions. We know that trade unions act on behalf of the workers, and obviously they fight for better salaries that are within the range of the cost of living, above the cost of living, so that the workers can afford their daily lives. And also, we see that trade unions fight for better working conditions, so that the working conditions that are there at workplaces are conducive. So these are some of the roles of the of trade unions. So we have those roles also articulated in our answer section, whereby we are saying the role of trade unions, we are having them, as we say, the main role of trade unions is to represent staff members in the workplace. Trade unions advocate that the economy should support the working class and the poor, to hold discussions on poverty reduction programs, reasonable income levels, and job creation strategies within employers. And also, trade unions ensure that poverty levels in the country are kept low through fights against reckless treatment processes by employers. They also highlight the need for job creation in the country. So these are some of the points that we can include in terms of that. So you see that our question has got 4 marks. Obviously, it requires 2 points. So according to the points that we have here, according to the rules of trade unions, we've got many points, so you can choose any 2 that you can deem correct. So this is what we have. So moving on to the next question, we have question 2.6, which reads, explain the relationship between primary, secondary, and tertiary sectors. We know that there is an interconnection that exists between these 3 sectors, whereby the primary sector obviously provides provides the secondary sector with the raw materials, and also the secondary sector manufactures the product and supplies the tertiary, and also supplies the primary sector. And we are going to see that the primary and secondary also source some services from the tertiary sector. We are talking about the transport services, insurance services, the banking services. Those are some of the services that these 2 sectors will source from the tertiary sector. So there is a relationship that exists between all these 3 sectors that is also articulated in our other section. The first point is the primary sector depends on the secondary sector for manufactured goods such as machinery, equipment, fertilizers, e.g. a farmer requires seed from another farmer. So this is the first point that we have. And then also the primary sector is dependent on the tertiary sector for its customer needs. The secondary sector processes the raw materials obtained from the primary sector into more useful products. The secondary sector depends on the primary sector for raw materials and products. So we see that there is an interconnection that we are seeing that is existing between the 3 sectors. The secondary sector needs the tertiary sector to sell their processed or manufactured goods, and also for services such as banks, insurance, transport, and communication. So we see that all these points we can also include them, but we are seeing that our question has got a maximum of 4 marks. So we move on to the next question that we have, which reads, advise businesses on the benefits of being involved in the macro environment. Remember, the macro environment is the environment that the business cannot control. We have got the macro environment. We are talking about the factors that affect the whole economy as a whole, or the whole country as a whole. We are talking about inflation. Those are some of the things that we are under the macro environment. So these are some of the benefits of being involved in the macro environment, whereby we're saying they will gain, the business will gain good publicity and so attract and retain loyal customers. They will attract and retain skillful employees in their communities. Government tenders and contracts are normally given to businesses that are involved in the macro environment. And lastly, the business that support their communities normally get some tax rebates. So these are some of the benefits that we have, and we have got an extension of those benefits that we have on the next page, whereby we are saying on the first point that we have is businesses that get involved in the macro environment can anticipate likely changes and devise strategies to turn them into opportunities. So we have got a rundown in terms of those benefits that we have. And we see that our question has got also a maximum of 4 marks. Obviously, 2 marks are required in terms of that. But we have got many points that are listed here that we can pick up from. So this is what we have in terms of our question 2. And obviously, we need to move on to our question 3. So our question 3 is on business operations, and the first question reads outline 4 stages or steps of product design. Basically, product design, obviously, it's creating new products to suit the needs of the customers. That is product design. So the question requires us to come up with 4 stages or steps of product design. So the steps or stages of product design includes 1, idea generation or design and development of product ideas, and then selecting and sifting of product ideas, that is idea screening, and also concept development and testing or design and testing of the product concept, which should happen before a product is developed. It also includes analysis of the profitability of the product. Customer response must be tested using a small sample of the product. We've got also technical implementation or systems and processes are put in the production planning and control process. On the next step, we have got commercialization. The product is launched and marketing or advertising campaigns implemented. So the product launch and marketing advertising campaigns are implemented. That is on the next point that we have. And then on the last part, we've got a new product pricing, and the product is priced and forecast worked out. And that is the last step that we have according to our other section. So we go on to our next question that we have, which reads, read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. We're given a scenario of African Spear Enterprise, ASE. African Spear Enterprise, ASE, produces products that are correctly contained within the packaging to protect them from harm. ASE packages products to attract the attention of consumers. ASE try to make the packaging of their products meet the requirements of good packaging. So on the first part, 3.2.1, quote 2 purposes of packaging are demonstrated by African Spear Enterprise. So obviously, we are going to try to use the purposes from the scenario that we are being given. If you come here, it reads ASE packages products to attract the attention of our customers. So this is the purpose, to attract attention of our customers. And then also, if you try to look again, in terms of the other sentences that were given here, it reads, African Spear Enterprise ASE produce products that are correctly contained within the packaging to protect them from harm. So the issue of protection or from harm also is another purpose that we can also deduce. So those are the purposes that we see in the scenario that we are given. Then we go to the next question, which reads, recommend 3 other purposes of packaging that ASE uses for their products. So this question requires us to bring other purposes of packaging that we can have. So we are going to see that other purposes of packaging, we have them here, where we're saying packaging is needed to contain the item or a product. So it becomes one of the purposes. Promote the product by indicating the brand and trademark of the product, trademark of the company and the product. And so prevent tampering or theft of a product. improves convenience in use or storage of a product, and also contains information about the product, including uses, any harmful warnings or dosage requirements. So those are the purposes that we have. So I'll see that these are some of the purposes that we can also include. So going to our next question, it reads, discuss the importance of product development. So we're going to see that these are the importance of product development that we have. The first one reads, product design needs to be designed to suit the needs of the customers. Obviously, this importance is that the needs of the customers are fulfilled. So that's what we have as an importance. The second part is saying that if the product design does not suit the target market, there will be a very little demand for the product. So very important to take note that if we don't engage in product development, we are going to have our demand going down or declining. Next one, business need to develop new products in order to replace older products in stage 4 when the sales are declines. And businesses are able to remain competitive because they are always on a lookout for ways to improve their products. So I see that our question is going to maximum of 4. Obviously, it requires us to raise 2 points. We'll go on to the next question, which is question 3.4. So question 3.4 reads, identify the marketing activities represented by the following statements. So we need to come up with the marketing activities that are represented by the statements that we are given there. The first statement is the act of keeping the product at a facility for safekeeping or preservation after the manufacturing. Obviously, this is storage. And then 3.4.2, the movement of products from one place to the other. And obviously, this is transporting. And the process of exchanging goods or services for money. Obviously, this includes the issue of buying and selling of products. So these are the responses that we have: 3.4.1 storage, and 3.4.2 transport, and then 3.4.3 we have got buying and selling. So we move on to the next question, which is discuss the requirements for a safe environment. So we are going to see that the requirements of a safe environment, the first one is that all businesses should draw up their own safety policy and enforce necessary control measures. Safety warnings and signs should be visible. Every business should have an up-to-date first aid kit in an easily accessible place. At least one employee trained in first aid should be on site. So those are some of the requirements of a safe environment. So the next question that we have is explain the advantages of production planning. Production planning maps up the production the processes that are needed to obviously to produce our products. So obviously that's what we have in terms of production planning, whereby the processes and steps that are needed are put down so that the production goes well in a very good way. Basically, we are saying production planning maps are the processes, obviously the resources and the steps are required in production. That is production planning. So what are the advantages of that? We have also that articulated in another section where we're saying planning allows an entrepreneur to ensure that every machine and worker is used to their full capacity and not left with nothing to do. The company can ensure that it has the correct amount of supplies and stock at a given time. This reduces wastage and unnecessary storage costs. That's another advantage. Planning will prevent time being wasted and increase the number of final products. So those are some of the advantages that we have. Then we'll move on to the next part, which is going to be on 3.7. Recommend precautionary measures that businesses should take when handling machines. So obviously, when handling machinery, it is very important that we take caution in ways in which we are handling, so that we obviously prevent the issue of being harmed by this machinery. So what are those precautionary measures that business should take when handling machinery is our question. So you'd see that in terms of those, we have The first one is to familiarize employees with safety procedures. So the employees have to know the safety procedures and familiarize the safety procedures so that they can be able to apply them. And develop a culture of safety in the workplace. So it should be something that should be within them, the workers, that should be cultivated obviously by the employer inside the employees so that they have the culture of safety, and that obviously will ring a bell and will prevent any incidents that can harm the workers. Then we've got all machinery and equipment must be carefully installed and safe to use. Workers must be properly trained on how to use machinery and must be informed about the risk when using the machinery. So very important in terms of this point that the workers have to be trained about how to use the machinery, because some of the incidents will happen because the worker does not know how to operate the machine. So those are some of the points that we can put. We have other points also that are also correct that we can include. And this becomes the last part that we have for question 3. And obviously, we want to move on to our question 4. Question 4.1 reads name 3 components of the micro environment. Remember, the micro environment describes the environment that the business can fully control. So the question requires us to give us components of micro environment. So we are going to see that we have a list of the components of microenvironment that we have here, whereby we are saying on the first part, we have got mission, the issue of a mission statement, a vision, a goals, and objectives are part of the micro environment. We also have organizational structure, organizational resources. We have got organizational culture, management and leadership. 8 business functions are part of the micro environment. Then we move on to the second part of our question. The second part of our question reads, read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. We are given a scenario of 4 contractors that we can go through and read. And then the first question beneath that reads, identify a challenge of the macro environment from the scenario above. Remember, the macro environment is the environment that is external to the business, that is outside the business, that the business do not have any control over that environment. So the question requires us to identify a challenge, but if you come to this sentence, it reads, however, the latest increase in interest rate has left consumers with less money to spend on goods and services. So the increase in interest rates is a challenge that we have that we can identify that is there. And then obviously on the challenge of macro environment, we are going to say increase in interest rates. And then on motivation, we are going to state the sentence that we have here to say that's where you got the challenge of macro environment. And then we go to the next part, which is 4.2.2, which is explain the challenge identified in question 4.2.1. And obviously, this challenge is going to lead to less spending on goods and services. So it's going to reduce the business revenue, and also is going to reduce the profits that are being made by the business. So you see that this reduction in spending is also going to affect the whole economy, as we are going to see that the business are going to make less profits and they will produce less since now they've got less retained profits that they can use to produce more goods and services. So those are some of the points that you can include on 4.2.2. So we have got 4.3, which reads discuss strikes and go slows as a challenge of the micro environment. So we need to come up with strikes and go slows as a challenge of the micro environment. We are going to see that strikes and go slows are examples of industrial actions that may be organized by a trade union and have a negative impact on the business operations. When managers and employees cannot sort out their differences, employees may engage in strikes or go slow. So we are going to see that the strikes and go slows, obviously, they're going to lead to negative effects for the business. As we are going to see that as they are engaging in a go slow, they are going to be limited production of goods and services, which is going to obviously affect the profit margins of the business, and the profit margins are going to go down. Then we go to the next one. A strike means employees refuse to go to work, or they do not work until their complaints have been addressed by the business. So during the time that they're not going to work, obviously it's going to cause some negative effects, and the business loses many hours of production time for the period of a strike. So a go slow means that employees report for duty as normal, but it deliberately work at a slower pace. So these are the points that we have on that part. Then we move on to the next question, which reads, recommend ways in which businesses can overcome competition in the market environment. So how can the business overcome? Obviously, they have to come up with a unique product that is competitive in the market that customers will prefer. That is another way that they can overcome competition in the market environment. So businesses must ensure that they produce unique or differentiated products or services for the target market. And also businesses need to provide more personalized services by being responsible to their customers' needs and wants. So personalized services, obviously, they produce according to what the customer needs. And that can be a way at win the customers over the competitors. Goods or services must be priced lower than competitors' goods or services in the market. So a competitive price also is of importance, as it will make the business win customers. So obviously, competitive price is a price that is below the competitor's price, so that you win customers. Then we've got the businesses must produce high quality goods or services that the consumers might be interested in. So those are some of the ways that we can use so that the businesses will win customers. So these are some of the points that we have that we can also include according to this point. I'm going to go to this question, as we are seeing that our question we have got 4 marks. Obviously, it requires you to raise 2 points. So this is what we have, and then we go to the lower part. We've got a question on business operations. The question reads, identify the pricing techniques used in each statement below. We've got 4.5.1, which reads, Zanex furniture suppliers charged the lower prices for the furniture when the shop was newly opened to attract customers. So obviously, by entering into the market and then you charge lower prices, this is a penetration pricing. And then second part, Phoenix Cash and Carry is having a special to buy one, get one free. So obviously, this is a promotional pricing. And then we go to the next one, is saying Food Lover sells avocados and apples at 12 Rand 99 and at 29 Rand 99 respectively. So you see that the pricing that we have at 12 Rand 99 is almost 13 Rand, 29 Rand 99 is almost 8 Rand. So basically, as the customer sees as if it's 12 Rand, but obviously this is 13 Rand. It's only a difference of 1 cent. So this is psychological pricing. So these are the pricing techniques that we have there. 4.1, we are saying penetration pricing. 4.5, 4.5.2, we are saying promotional pricing. 4.5.3, we are saying psychological pricing. So this is what we have. Then we move on to the next question. Next question is question 4.6, which reads, explain the requirements of a good trademark. Trademark must be attractive for the consumer. It is important that it suits the product. The trademark must be suitably designed for the target market. It must be different from its competitors. It must also promote the image of the enterprise. Enterprises use it for display, and therefore it must be suitable for display purpose. So these are some of the points that are supporting the good part of a good trademark. So we have other 2 points that we have, which we can also include on that part. So we can see that our question has got 6 marks. Obviously, it requires you to bring up three points. Then on the last part of our question, suggest ways in which businesses can comply with the Occupational Health and Safety Act. So to comply with the Occupational Health and Safety Act, or workers must be provided with protective gear to protect themselves against potential dangerous situations. And also, first aid boxes must be readily available at the workplace and in the factory. And then on the third point, fire extinguishers must be readily available at the workplace and in the factory. Machinery must be maintained at regular intervals and repaired promptly. And ensure health and safety of persons at work and during the use of plants and machinery. So these are some of the points that we should have in line with occupational health and safety. So this is the last part of our question 4, and obviously we are left with our essay part.